But if you want to raise taxes on upper income people, for goodness sakes, spend it in the way that best benefits the rest of America. Put people to work, give them good jobs, let poor people get out of college. That's the best thing we can do. And then there's a problem that is urgent now, which is, what about all these young people who already have college debt from public and private schools? I cannot tell you how many young people I've talked to. Every time I go in, I got a little shtick I do now. Every time I go in to buy a cup of coffee anywhere, if a young person's serving me, I ask, how long have you been doing this? Here's my last conversation in New York City. I was down to see my granddaughter the other day. I stopped in a place I'd never been before. This nice woman, young woman, said, I sure hope your wife wins. She was a great senator. She'll be a great president. I said, how long have you been here? 5 years, on and off. I said, what's off? She smiled. She said, that's when I'm going to college. And I said, what's on? She said, that's when I'm paying for it. That's 5 years already. She got in 2 years in. I said, you living at home? She said, yeah, that's the only way I can pay my debt. I couldn't make my debt payment and pay for rent. Okay, day before yesterday, when I got ready to come down here, I was in South Carolina yesterday and here today. I stopped by to buy a pair of jeans from this lady that I do business with. And she's really proud of her son. He just got out of college. And I said, do you have any debt? She said, yeah. I said, what's the interest rate? She said, 9%. I said, you still got a home mortgage? She said, yeah. I said, what's your mortgage rate? She said, under 4%. Why? Because a college loan is the only loan you cannot refinance. Do you know if we allowed every person with a college loan to refinance it at current interest rates, 25 million people would save $2,000 apiece, and Hillary wants to do that. Second thing, it's unbelievable. Just that simple thing that nobody's letting to happen. Then here's the kicker. I met a woman the other day working for Hillary as a volunteer in Nevada. She was a lawyer who had already served a year as a deputy prosecutor, and she still owed $100,000 for all her college and law school. So here's what Hillary proposes to do. Let's treat college debt like a home mortgage, because a college degree is a lifetime asset, just like a home. It's good for 50 years. And no matter where you piled up this debt, undergraduate, community college, graduate school, public or private, you ought to be able to consolidate it into a 20-year loan and then limit your monthly payment to a small fixed percent of your after-tax income. Now, if it's not paid off in 20 years, the rest is forgiven. If you want to get rid of it earlier, if you do a year in a public service job, you can knock up to $17,000 off. If you want to get rid of it altogether in a hurry, if you do 2 years in an AmeriCorps job, any of those community service jobs, and 1 year in a public service job like being a teacher or a police officer or a nurse, it's all gone. 3 years, all gone. All gone. Now, think, to all you young people, think about this, what it means. You can move out of your parents' house. If you get an idea for a new job, you can go out to the bank and say, look, I need to borrow that $80,000. I want to set up a bakery. Your credit score is not impaired. If you just took this job to pay the debt, and here's another job you'd love, but it pays less, you can take that job because your payment will go down as your income goes down. It will free a whole generation of people. That's a barrier we can all take down together. and open up the future. Look, there are lots of other things we need to do. I mentioned prison reform. We can't afford to keep all these people in prison anymore that are nonviolent. But if we let them out and we don't do anything else, a lot of them will go right back in. So Hillary has proposed, we spent $5 billion to make them transition successfully. Train and educate people for jobs they can get when they get out. And do not let them be disqualified by somebody saying, check this box, I've been in jail. Let them begin again. And we need to do something about this epidemic of prescription drug and heroin abuse. And it's a public health problem. We can do this in a bipartisan way, by the way. A lot of Republicans agree with us on this. You know, if a doctor is breaking the law, go after the doctor. If a pharmacist is breaking the law, go after the pharmacist. But the people that have been ruined by this, they're a public health issue. We need treatment and mental health facilities to let them begin again. And our foundation's done a lot of work on this and pioneered working with a drug company to get the first ever nasal spray of naloxone, the miracle drug that brings people back. First auto injection spray at a very low price so that we can get every college, every high school, every public responder, everybody to help save these kids. But since I have so many young people today, listen to me, people do not know this. 3 friends of ours, I mean real friends, have lost a child apiece. And none of the children were addicts. They all, for different reasons, drank 3 or 4 beers or 3 or 4 glasses of wine, and to get a buzz, popped an Oxycontin. And if you go to sleep, it deadens the part of your brain, if you mix them, that tells your body to breathe while you're sleeping. And these young people, one of them spoke 9 languages, had her whole life before. They never woke up. We got to do this together. We can reach out. This is an equal opportunity killing. They're killing Republicans and Democrats in small town rural America. No civil war here. Everybody is dying together. We can turn this around. But we got to do it together. The other thing I want to say is we can do all these economic things, but we got to do more for the areas that have been left out and left behind. Give all those rural, remote areas universal, affordable broadband. They'll create a new economy for themselves. Instead of giving tax breaks for people to move their jobs overseas, give people tax breaks to invest in American areas that have been left out and left behind. We can do it together. Here's the last thing I want to say for Hillary. You got to do all this, put everybody in the picture of the president painted, and defend the country at the same time. She is the only person running who has not just been Secretary of State, but has been a United States Senator on the Armed Services Committee. And everything she has done since she's been in Washington, even when they were cussing her, she got Republican support for it. That's why they've been so mean to her the last 3 years. They do not want to run against her, and they know she'll find a way to make them go behave. We'll all have to do something together. But let me just ask you to think about that. Think about what it takes to make us safe. Do we need a strong military? Yes. Hillary served on a committee with a Republican speaker, former Speaker Newt Gingrich, that the Pentagon appointed to plan the military of the 21st century. One of the things they recommended was that we have no more land wars in the Middle East, but instead develop special forces who could go in and help people who are willing to fight for themselves and their children and their future. That's what President Obama is doing today.